What's up, guys? This is a Two Takes podcast. I'm Mason, and Logan is sadly not on the show today. We'll definitely put some out. He's been busy with some church things lately. But I have my dad joining me again today. Um, and I'm really thank you for joining me today. And let's get into this. We haven't got an episode out in a while. We have a lot to talk about. So we can start off with the Final Four. Houston. Well, we can start out with Florida and Auburn. If you can remember that game, what were your takeaways from that game? Florida winning that game.
I honestly don't remember much about that game. To really to know. I mean, I leading into it, I picked Florida to win that game, but after looking at I remember thinking beforehand that I thought I made a mistake looking at some of the ages of the Auburn players compared to the ages of the Florida players. Um, I think I'd seen a stat where Auburn, if that roster or that starting lineup at least was in the NBA, I think there were like 5 or 6 teams younger than
Yeah,
them. Um, but I think Florida was just more explosive than Auburn was. I think Florida just better players and
yeah.
better coached team than Auburn was. And
Yeah, we don't have to go in depth with this. These were a while ago. I definitely remember that championship game, but this game was more interesting. Houston and Duke. I remember a lot of that game. Duke up by like 13 with like 6 minutes left, and them losing. What were your takeaways from that game?
yeah, I think Duke's age probably hurt them a little bit. We're a very young team. Their star players were young. And when you're up by that much towards the end of the game and they just couldn't close it out, I do think there was a pretty bad call on flag at the towards the end that gave Houston 2 free throws. I didn't agree with that call,
Yeah,
but again, that's one call. They had a 13-point lead and blew it. One call didn't determine that 13-point lead.
yeah,
So you got to play. You got to be able to play a whole game, and unfortunately, Duke couldn't finish it out. I think Duke was probably the better team, but it just happened to be those last 10 minutes or so. Houston controlled it and played
yeah.
their game.
To stay on this topic, do you think Cooper Flag will stay for another year, or do you think he'll declare?
I think I'll probably end up declaring. I think there's too much money in the NBA right now to not. I don't know if he's fully ready. I think he'll go to the NBA and be decent. I don't think he's going to be a dominant player at all by any means. I think he would probably benefit from another year of college ball, but I think nowadays the mindset is not that. He's going to go. He's going to be the number one pick, and he's going to get a bunch of money. The issue is he's going to go to a pretty bad team, and
Yeah, that the team he's projected to go to is the Jazz, and they have like a 16-63 record or something.
yeah. So I think he'll go pro. I don't think he should. I think he could benefit from another year of.
Yeah.
I mean, he was a good player, but I didn't sit there and watch him and think dominant player. Every time I seen Duke play.
Yeah, I think I think if he can shoot, then he'll do good in the NBA. It's just it's kind of the NFL. Like what Jaden Daniels said different, but if you have to be in a good NBA team, and I don't think the Jazz are a good NBA team. But it will be interesting to see if Flag does declare. He should. I think he will. But never know. If he does come back, they're winning it next year. I don't care. Um, but just and then the championship game, Florida and Houston. That game was a barn burner. It came to the last couple seconds. What was your takeaway from that game?
Yeah, I thought that game was the tale of two halves. I thought the first half played into Houston's hand, and the second half played into Florida's hand. I think it kind of ran into um, Florida's firepower versus Houston's. When Houston had, I mean, they kind of dominated the whole first half, but the score didn't really show it. I mean, at times I think it got up to
Yeah,
10 or 12, but as bad as Florida played in that first half,
it's like
Houston should have really been up to about a 20-point lead.
Yeah, it's like whenever like it was a couple years ago whenever Ohio State lost to Michigan, they dominated the first half and they were only up by three. And whenever you dominate the first half and you're only up by three, that isn't a good look.
Yeah, I mean, Florida in the first half had a lot of turnovers. Their main player, the guard, I can't think of his name. He didn't have
Yeah,
any points. Um, so when you look at that, I mean, you're winning the turnover battle not by a few, but by a lot. When the main player doesn't have any points, you better be up by 15 to 20
yeah,
because you know that isn't going to carry over into the second half, and it didn't carry over to the second half, and they allowed kind of like how Houston did the Duke. I mean, they had it done to them
yeah,
and couldn't close out the game and
yeah.
made it close to the end. And unfortunately, Houston just didn't have that offense. I mean, great defense, but lacked a little bit of that offensive firepower they needed.
Yeah, it was a really good game. And we can talk about the last couple of seconds. Houston, they didn't start running the offense to like 7 seconds left, um, and then they didn't take a shot, but he threw the ball to the ground, and no one went after it, and Florida got the ball back. In those last couple of seconds, do you think he should have shot it, or do you think he should have threw the ball to the ground and wished for the best of luck, and maybe he should have touched it?
Yeah, I think their offensive play call got started too late. I mean, they got the ball with 19 seconds. I understand saving it for the last shot, but I think they should have started getting that play going about, the 12-second mark, maybe 11, 10 seconds. They waited till about 7. And so you're leaving yourself up for one shot and one shot only. And in that case, I mean, Florida had it played great and pushed him outside and made him kind of force up a shot. Not only was he not ready for, but he had a guy in his face and he was pretty deep too. Even
Yeah,
if he would have got the shot off, that was a tough shot. I mean,
yeah.
to make
He could
that.
have done, yeah.
And I think in the situation, like it's easy for us to look back and say, like, yeah, he should have touched it or should have done something. But you got to think in that mindset. I mean,
Yeah, it's in the moment.
yeah,
And
he's thinking on a split second, and like if you touch the ball, I mean, it's going to be a penalty on you.
yeah,
And
and then everyone's all blaming on you if they don't
yeah,
get the ball
and
back.
and so I think I think he did the right thing. I think of like if I was in that situation, that's exactly what
I
I would
would,
do
yeah,
too.
yeah.
And
Yeah, it was a really really good national championship, better than the last year one.
yeah,
And whenever UConn dominated. So yeah, college basketball came to an end. Looking forward to next year. Right now it's just transfer portal and all of that, and players wanting contracts like the NFL. Um, but let's move on to the Reds. They just finished a series with the Pirates. They swept them. They won 2 out of 3 at San Francisco, and then they lost 3 out of the 4 in Milwaukee. What's been the takeaways from the last couple of series? Again for the Reds.
yeah, I think it's kind of how it started almost. I mean, great pitching. Pitching staff has looked amazing. Hitting very up and down. Still not a consistent hitting team that you're seeing. Uh, which that's expected early on. Weather's been kind of crappy
Yeah,
throughout, so
definitely for
hopefully that
Cincinnati.
picks up. But I mean, you're not going to win every game sitting there scoring 5 runs, getting 2 hits. That's not going to happen consistently. So you
Yeah,
gotta get the hitting going. Um, some of the guys in the beginning of the year, a little slump, but obviously McLean getting hurt. That's not too good considering that's his third injury now in 3 years. You don't want to see that. Encarnacion Strand struggling. So they got some other guys kind of filling in when they need to, but you'd
yeah,
like to see that hitting pick up a little bit because right now their pitching staff has been one of the best in baseball. And said if you can get the hitting to go with it, you got a dangerous team.
yeah. They did activate Austin Hayes off the IR today. Maybe he can start it up. Right now, Ellie is leading in home runs with 3 and RBIs with 17. So he's right now lit up the stat sheet. But it was pretty cool seeing him hit a grand slam on his bobblehead night. It's pretty
Yeah,
cool.
I think he's a pretty explosive player. I think he has a lot of upside to him. Um,
Yeah.
I think he's looking better this year from the plate, where I know last year he kind of
Yeah, I feel like I don't know what his strikeout numbers are, but I think he's definitely gone down on the strikeout numbers
yeah.
from last year.
So I think the big thing with him is just to keep it going, keep improving because he is young. He's still a new player, and keep on seeing those improvements. And both
Yeah,
the field and the strikeouts, and I think he is making that progress
yeah.
to become better.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. Pitching, the staff has looked really good. They can't be better except for give up no runs. Green, he's been pitching lights out, like you said. Teams have not hit his slider at all yet this year, and that looks really good on him because his main thing was the fastball, and if he can pitch another ball, then he's dominant, and you're seeing that out this year. He has a almost, I think he is under a 1 ERA. Do you know about that?
I don't know what his ERA is. Can look it up real quick. If I had to guess, though, I would say it's probably under a one because I think he's gone the last like 19 innings without giving up a run. Yeah, his ERA is at a .98. So
Yeah. Lodolo's is up there, but he just gave up a home run, so this is probably back up now.
yeah, it's
Um,
looking pretty good for Hunter Green right now.
yeah, and all the starting pitchers, Brady Singer, he's 3-0 right now. They just got Abbott back. He looked good on his start. And then who's the fifth one?
It depends. I mean, they had the
They changed it. Nick Martinez.
yeah, Martinez.
Um,
He struggled his last outing. He had a good
yeah, he has a 6 ERA, I think.
Yeah, he had a good 4 to 5 innings and then kind of lost it
Got
in his
wild.
last inning.
Yeah.
But overall, he's looked okay too. Again, still early, 16 games into the season, but I think looking at it, you have to be happy with how the pitching staff has looked so far.
Yeah, and then
And
you can go.
no, I was saying, and their bullpen has they haven't used their bullpen much, which is good because I think that was
Yeah.
one of the issues last year was their bullpen was just worn out. Their starters were going 5 innings, and you were looking for 4 innings out of your bullpen. This year, their starters are going 7 innings, so you're only needing 2 innings out of your bullpen, which helps those arms and keeps them fresh as the year goes on.
And yeah, talking about that bullpen, Graham Ashcraft, he used to be a starting pitcher in the bullpen. He hasn't gave up a run this whole season. Melio Pagan, he's filled that closer role for Alexis Diaz, and Alexis Diaz was activated, but they're saying Pagan has the starting role right now until he loses it. But all the other pitchers, Ian Jabot, he started off bad, but then he's picked it up too. Tony Santillan, he's looked good. All of them look good. There might be like one or two that haven't. But if you all have bad bullpen. You can't have a straight up good bullpen.
Yeah,
Um, but they can't do better than what they're doing. It's just if they can hit the ball, I think they can be a championship team. If their pitching stays like they are.
yeah, no, I agree. I think their their bullpen is looked pretty good throughout. I can't think of any real negative about their bullpen. I
No
mean, I'm looking it up right here, and as a team ERA. Now this is starters and um,
bullpen.
bullpen. I mean, the Reds are third best. I mean,
Yeah,
2.87 ERA, only behind the Mets and the Padres.
yeah,
And so that's looking pretty good. I mean, when you look at hits given up, they're the only team that has given up less than 100 hits this year. Um,
yeah,
so you that's a good start to the bullpen. I think
yeah.
very happy
Definitely.
with how they look. Hopefully, they can keep it up.
Yeah. I feel like the fielding has been a little bit more clean than last year. Ellie has like 2 errors, I think, but I think the fielding's looked a little better than last year too.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Base running, I feel like it's got better than the first couple of weeks. But you'll definitely see it down the line here whenever it gets to big games. So yeah, Reds, I don't know their score. Last time I saw they were down 1-0. So yeah, the Reds have looked really good so far. Final four, championship was fun. Now let's get into the NFL. NFL drafts coming up. What, April 24th, I think, April 24th to 27th. Um, so there's some surprising things in the draft. Shador Sanders' draft stock is dropping in the draft. Do you think it should drop?
Yeah, I think he's a good quarterback. I think he can be a good quarterback. I don't think he's a great quarterback. I don't think he has a top 10 talent like everyone thinks he does. Um, I think a lot of it has been up to his name, and a lot of it has been, them hyping him up and everything because of who his dad is. Uh, I think he'll go
Yeah,
in the first round. If I was a team drafting him, I don't know if he's their future. And I know there's been a lot of people that said he's won everywhere he's been. He was at Jackson State. Jackson State doesn't play top competition. He was at Colorado, which Colorado's not a good. I mean, the Big 12 is not a great football conference. Um, he's going to be playing a lot better competition, so he's going to have to get into a good situation. I mean, if he goes into Tennessee, he's going to fail at Tennessee. Tennessee has no talent around him. He's going to need some talent around him. I don't think
yeah,
he's the kind of quarterback like a Joe Burrow or a Patrick Mahomes or a Josh Allen that can go in there and carry a team. I think he's going to need some people to help him out. And I don't know if there's a team in the top 10 that he would fit into with that. And I don't know if he'll go in the top 10. I wouldn't draft him there.
no. They're
Um,
they're
but
saying a popular thing is the Steelers, and that's the 21st pick. I don't know if they trade up. I don't think they should. That's why in my mock draft, I had the Giants passing up on him and drafting a lineman for because there's better quarterbacks down the draft. Dylan Gabriel, that I think that would have a better chance than Shador Sanders. Like Dylan Gabriel, I even think um, Quinn Ewers, Jackson Dart, um, maybe even Jalen Milrow. I don't know really. I don't think he'll be good, but I don't think Shador Sanders would be good. If he didn't have Sanders as his last name, he's going to play Canadian football.
yeah,
Um, but they like you said they already retired his jersey at Colorado, and he went like 8-8.
yeah. I mean, he did nothing to get his jersey retired at Colorado. Even Travis Hunter. Travis Hunter is amazing talent, and he'll get drafted high. He didn't do anything at Colorado to get his jersey retired either. I mean,
Yeah,
there's been many great players at many other colleges that if you base it off of those stats, you're never going to have a number to wear in college football because they're all going to be retired.
yeah.
If we're
Um,
retiring average numbers,
yeah. Going on to the next conversation about Travis Hunter, do you think he'll do good in an NFL draft? And if so, what position do you think he should play, or both?
I think he'll be a top 5 pick definitely.
Yeah,
If I
definitely.
was him, I mean again, he's obviously more talented than I could ever be. I think I would focus on one position. Keep in mind though, with the ability that we can utilize you in that second position, whether that's defensive back or wide receiver, whatever. He's better. With the times I watched him, I think he was probably a better defensive back than a better wide receiver.
Yeah.
Um, so I think they could keep him as a starter as a defensive back and utilize him in the wide receiver thing. But I don't think realistically he can expect to go in there and be a top defensive back and a top wide receiver. I just
Yeah, he's
different
small
game,
too.
different levels. Um, and they're
Eh,
tough positions. Defensive back is a tough position to learn, and
Yeah.
so is wide receiver. And I think he needs to focus on one, but also they can use his skill and talent in the other position if they need it. I mean, if you run a 4 or 5 wide receiver set, you can definitely put him in there in that slot position, and he can be dangerous. But I don't think he can be dangerous 100% of the time on both sides of the ball.
Like it was seen in college, he would do really good at receiver and then do really bad at DB, or do really good at DB and not do really good at receiver. But just the only concern for me is it's Big 12 football. It's the best team in there was Arizona State. Arizona State's a great team, but I don't even think they played them. They didn't even play the top teams, and the toughest team they played against was Arizona, and they lost.
Yeah.
And then they got blown out by BYU in the Alamo Bowl.
Yep.
Um,
And they should have gotten beat a couple other games during the season that
yeah,
they
Baylor.
they won some close games. Again, there was never a point in time where I looked at Colorado and thought, man, this was a good football team. Um,
Their
I
defense
mean,
isn't good.
as a I know a lot of times people were at the beginning of the season. I remember Schroeder saying that the only team better than them was Georgia. And as a Ohio State fan, I would have loved to watch Ohio State play Colorado. I think
Their
Ohio
defense
State
would,
probably would have won by 50. Um,
yeah,
but again,
gosh,
they're playing completely different competition. I mean, the Big 12 is nowhere near the Big 10 and the SEC, and
yeah,
anybody that thinks that is completely crazy for thinking that. It's top to bottom, wouldn't even be close.
yeah. Um, yeah. So NFL's, we will definitely talk about more NFL after the draft. There isn't really much to talk about. Just players just talking like Stephon Diggs saying Drake Mays compared to Josh Allen and Jackson Darts being compared to Josh Allen too. It's just players speaking out of their butt. So we're both Ohio State fans. Logan's a Notre Dame fan, so we can't really talk about Ohio State spring training game. But me and my dad watched their spring game. What were your takeaways from that game?
I think what you can expect from spring football now. I think they hold it back a bit because you don't want teams sitting there coming in and getting your kids from the transfer portal, and that's a different thing with football nowadays. I thought the big thing was to see how the quarterbacks fared out, and I thought Julian Sain looked really, really good. Kane Holtz had some good plays, had some bad plays. I think kind of up and down, what you would expect.
Yeah,
Um,
and
Tavian St.
Tavian,
Clair started off slow,
yeah,
and
but he picked it up really
yeah,
good.
I think he got a lot better. I think being able
And
to sit this
yeah,
year and learn the offense, learn the game will help him out a lot. Um,
yeah, he definitely has some good potential after Julian saying, but you're not gonna get like Julian saying gameplay in freshman year. You're gonna start off. He's probably nervous at Ohio State freshman year. All these expectations for him. Yeah, he's gonna start off 1 for 7 with a pick. It's just so much pressure just watching him.
Yeah,
And
it's just learning the game still. And realistically,
yeah,
everyone needs to think he should still be in high school. He left high school or he graduated early, so I know he's going in as a freshman, and rightfully so. He's a highly respected quarterback, but he is still a high school kid, still learning everything. So I think the biggest thing I took from him at one point, he came off the field after a bad pass, and Coach Day was kind of getting on him, and he kept his eye contact the whole time. He listened to everything Coach Day was saying, never looked away, shook his head. He wasn't talking, he was responding, which is good. Shows he's willing to learn and he's ready to learn and he wants to learn. And that's all you can
yeah.
ask for a kid that young.
Another thing with that game, how about that running game? Bo Jackson. Yeah, he's Bo Jackson.
Yeah, running backs look good, offensive line look good. I think their offense, if they continue to improve, even I mean they played well. If they can, their offense could be almost unstoppable this year. If the running game goes how it did, their wide receivers are already going to be the top wide receivers in college
Jeremiah
football.
Smith, Carnell Tate, that Quincy Porter 5 star.
Yeah, I mean
And
Brandon
then
Ennis, they
yeah,
probably
and then
have
that
five guys that are going to be first round picks on in their wide receiver room right now.
and then that tight end from Purdue looked really good too.
Yeah, yeah, I'm not worried about their offense. I think even I know there's a question mark in quarterback right now, but I've
You
seen
can't
enough
mess up with
from
that.
yeah with Keen Holtz and Sayin to be comfortable with one of them as their starting quarterback.
Yeah, you can be like a Joe Burrow down screw it. Jeremiah Smith's down there somewhere.
Yeah.
He's 2-on-1. He's catching it 3-on-1. He's a freshman. He'll probably junior year he'll definitely have it down. First game against Texas in August will be a good one with Arch Manning starting that game.
Yep.
Will definitely be interesting. But just the defense, like you said, Patricia didn't really come out with a whole defense. He just came out, just played basic defense, which I don't think they probably played a big offense too because they don't want teams to scout them out already.
It's
Um,
just a way to get out and get in front of some fans
yeah,
and get them on the field and kind of close out
and
spring
competition.
practice.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think you've seen a lot of kids getting in there that were freshmen that were walk-ons, um, and it's just getting out there in a game situation. They still got a long time before the season comes around.
yeah. It's just that I think the biggest concern was that the D line didn't get much pressure, but if Patricia does put some stunts in there, I think they can be good. Their line, Sonny Styles. And Arvel Reese, I think, will be good. And then their cornerbacks, Igbenogsen's returning, Jermaine Matthews. This is his third year now. Um, and then they have Caleb Downs back there, definitely the best safety in the country. I think he was the best safety last year in the country, and he was just a sophomore last year. Um, so yeah, the Ohio State. I don't know how far they'll go this year. But they they went to the White House yesterday, and JD Vance dropped the trophy, and he's an Ohio State fan. Like that has to be kind of embarrassing. um, but yeah, it's been a good couple weeks. Ohio State looked good. Reds have been looking good. And then we can, in the last couple of minutes, we have to shorten this up a little bit. We can talk about the Bengals. What do you think the Bengals' biggest concern they should draft in the NFL?
Man, I think for them, they got to go defense and offensive line, regardless of. I think the only thing I would question is depending on when they draft, if that Tyler Warren from Penn State is there at tight end. He's the only person I would possibly consider taking in the
Imagine
first
that on
round.
the offense.
Outside of that, it's defense and it's offensive line, and they shouldn't look anywhere else. Quarterback, running back, wide receiver, it should be off limits in the first round. Realistically, I'd probably go defense for them.
I wouldn't even
Um,
draft a quarterback.
yeah, but they they should only be looking at a couple positions in the first round,
Yeah,
and then after that they can open it up a bit. But there's certain positions should be off limits for them in the first round. But
I
if
think
I'm
it.
them, I'm going defense and defense only in the
Yeah,
first round.
I think whoever's best at defense there. I don't even think if Tyler Warren's there, I don't think they draft him because they just signed Kasecki to a big deal, and maybe down the line they have to make a big decision on Kasecki or Tyler Warren. And with the Bengals ownership, they'll keep none.
Yep.
So so I don't really want them to put in that big situation. But yeah, I think it's just whoever's the best available at defense, they should draft. Um, but I hope they draft Jack Sawyer. That dude's a team player. I love that dude. Um, but yeah, this is the end to Two Takes podcast. Thank you, Dad, so much for joining me on this. Logan will be probably back soon. Maybe make an episode with Matthew. That will be fun. Stay tuned to that, and we'll keep on posting on YouTube. Logan's got the TikTok. But thank you, Dad, for joining me.
No,
Um,
no problem.
and this is the Two Takes podcast. I'm Mason, and see you guys later.